Okay, we ready to go?
Yep.
We are now recording.
Okay, this is the Parks and Recreation Chair, Carla White Snyder, and I'd like to make it clear for the record of this meeting, and it should be reflected in the minutes that this regular Parks and Rec Commission meeting of July 27th, 2020 will be conducted pursuant to Governor Newsom's Executive Order N2920. The meeting will be held via teleconference, and Parks and Recreation Commission members will participate via teleconference. Those locations are not listed on the agenda and are not accessible to the public. The public is encouraged to listen to the Parks and Recreation Commission meeting live by going to City of Woodland website at www.cityofwoodland.org/meetings. If you wish to make a comment during general public comment or on a specific agenda item, this is how to do that. Any member of the public watching the live stream who wishes to make a comment on an item as it is being heard may submit an email to krista.bain, that's B-A-I-N, at cityofwoodland.org prior to the public comment on that item. Email comments submitted to be read into the record shall be no more than 3 minutes when read aloud. Please include the agenda item in the subject line. Chris, it would now be appropriate for you to conduct the roll call. Each member must identify themselves during roll call.
All right. Commissioner Ali.
You need to unmute.
Sorry about that. I'm here.
Okay. Commissioner Foraker.
Present.
Commissioner Martin. Commissioner Martin is not here. Commissioner Valkarinki.
Hi, this is John Paul. I'm present.
And Commissioner Whitesnider.
Yes, I'm present. I'd like now to request that each member of the commission respond to these questions. I need you to identify yourself and then answer the question. Well, I guess if I ask you directly, that'll work too. Vice Chair Valkaringi, can you hear me well?
Yes, I can.
Commissioner Ali, can you hear me well?
This is Commissioner Ali, and I can hear you well.
Commissioner Foraker, can you hear me well?
Yes, I can hear you well.
Okay. Does each member of the commission have a copy of the agenda for the meeting? And please respond individually. Commissioner Valkaringi,
Yes, I do.
Commissioner Ali,
Yes, I do.
Commissioner Foraker.
Yes, I do.
Okay. Chris, has the agenda been posted on a location reasonably accessible to the public?
Yes, to my knowledge, it has been
Okay.
posted on the city's website.
Thank you very much. The record should reflect that all commissioners are present for the teleconference and have indicated they are able to hear the proceedings. Commissioner Martin is absent at this time. At this time, I'm requesting the city staff introduce themselves and their positions so that the record can reflect their attendance.
Good evening. This is Christine Engel, Community Services Director.
All right. This is Chris Bain. I'm the Community Services Program Manager.
This is Wes Schroeder. I'm the Park Superintendent.
Thank you very much. And now as we go through the agenda, I'd like to request that you remember that before speaking, you need to identify yourselves so that we know who it is each time.
Pledge allegiance. I'm sorry, Carla.
Okay,
I think
no,
that
there's a little bit more on here, but I think we're good. We're going to need to do the Pledge of Allegiance, and Andrew, could I get you to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Absolutely. All right, I guess I'll just kind of count her down. 1, 2, 3. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of
of
the
the
United States of America,
and
one
to
nation,
for
republic
which
for
it
which it
stands,
stands,
one
one
nation,
nation,
under God,
under God,
indivisible,
with
liberty and justice for all.
Well, that was interesting with the delay.
That was a motley crew.
Yeah.
That was interesting. Chris, as the council chambers are closed to the public, is there any member of the public who has submitted an email or left a voicemail for the general public comment portion of the meeting?
There is no email in my email box.
Okay. Commissioners, is there any communication you wish to share with us today? Commissioner Vice Chair Valkerengi?
Yes, this is John Paul Valkerengi. I had two inquiries or questions for city staff. I just wanted to alert you about some chatter I had seen on Facebook for Spring Lake. Some people are again starting to complain about weeds. This is something that I brought up before in the past. I think what we're seeing is people are out walking a lot more in the mornings and in the evenings, and they're seeing a lot of weeds in the center medians and around the Greenbelt walking paths. And so I don't know if anybody's checked in with city staff yet, but they are complaining about the taxes they pay for lighting and landscape, which we do pay a significant amount for. And I would just ask that you or your staff take a look and see if they can confirm the status of weed care along the green belts and in the center divides. If you want me to walk it with you and point some things out, I'm happy to do that. If you want to take some pictures and update us at the next meeting, it might be a good idea just to show that we are as a city paying attention to that.
Yeah, with all those late rains again, we've had a lot of extra weed issues. We've been turning them in very regularly, and I know that the contractor is working on it. We should start getting and seeing a little more of a catch up on it. I know they were working out on County Road 102 this afternoon, so I know they've been working on it. It's a process that we've been having to work with and get them to catch up on it.
One other request, and this is more of a request to see if we can problem solve something that I'm seeing in my neighborhood. So we have these beautiful green belts, and when the initial green belts were put in, there were a few garbage cans and benches laid out, but now that the neighborhood has really grown in the last 5 years or so, we didn't continue putting benches and garbage cans out on the paths. And I'm seeing a lot of older folks who are looking for places to sit and not having it. And there's some of them can find spots on the rock walls and some of them can't. And then the other thing I'm seeing is a lot of people are bringing bags to pick up their dog poop, and then they don't want to carry it, so they just set it on the ground because there's nowhere to throw it away, which kind of frustrating all around. And if there were some garbage cans, I think we might see more trash ending up in the garbage cans and not on our green belts. I don't know if there's an easy remedy. I respect the fact that there's a budget shortfall. I know in the past we got lucky and there were some extra benches in storage that we could use. If we could look at some ways to troubleshoot that or brainstorm it, I'm sure that all the residents in Spring Lake would appreciate it.
Okay, we'll look into that. Maybe we can meet up in the next few weeks and you can show me some places that we might be short on the benches and garbage cans.
Yeah, I'd be happy to.
Okay, offline we'll talk about it.
Sounds good.
Thank you. Commissioner Ali or Commissioner Foraker, just as a housekeeping issue, at the bottom of the screen, there's a participants button, and you can use that to raise your hand, especially where I can't see you raise your hand like I could John Paul. So if you have something to add and you're hesitant to break in while somebody else is speaking, if you'll raise your hand on the participants list, then I can call on you when we're done. Do you have anything to add, either of you? Okay, hearing none. We'll go, the next item is presentations. Do we have a presentation today?
We do not.
Okay. Business items to report. Is there any other business that looks awfully blank? Then we will move on to committee reports. I personally don't have anything from my committees. It's been kind of quiet. We don't know how to behave with the COVID exactly. It's a little awkward. So I don't have anything from mine. I'll just go down the list. John Paul, do you have anything from Urban Forest or any? Are you still on Urban Forest?
I am, and I don't have any updates to report for Urban Forest. I know that last month we had some talk about field replacement, turf replacement at the softball fields, and I saw in this month's agenda that that's something we're going to talk about tonight. That's really the only update I've had.
Okay, that sounds great. Ali, do you have anything?
Nothing on my end.
Okay. Andrew, do you have anything?
Nothing to report.
Okay. Really short meeting. Okay. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from the last meeting. Everybody had a chance to read them, and could I get a motion? Could I get a motion to approve?
So motion, this is Commissioner Foraker.
Okay, second.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Do you need to take a roll call on that, Chris?
No, I got 4-0.
Okay.
Thank you.
My goodness, I'm having lots of fun here. I think the next thing up is absence requests. Do we have any absence requests coming up? I do not. This is Carla.
This is John Paul. Nothing for me at this time. My recollection is we're out in August, correct?
Correct.
Ali or Andrew?
This is Commissioner Early.
No absence. Okay.
And this is Commissioner Foraker, nothing to report.
Okay.
Carla, can we go ahead and do the turf replacement before
Yep.
we go to election of officers?
Absolutely.
Excellent. I did want to update everyone that at the last city council meeting on July 21st, the city council did approve a capital improvement project to replace the turf at the sports park, and the council report is included in your packet. It's actually a two-step process. So at the last council meeting, they approved a goods purchase agreement for the purchase of the turf material. And then the next step is that we'll execute the goods purchase agreement with the vendor. And then on August 18th, we'll actually go with the construction contract, which includes a pad and the cork sand infill. So we have to do two different contracts for this project. We are planning to replace all 5 fields, and this will occur between October 1st and December 31st. There will always be 2 to 3 fields available for the use of our, either right now it's Woodland Soccer Club and also Davis Alliance or Alliance Soccer. However, because of COVID, both of the groups are not certain if they will still be playing in the fall. And just a reminder, so currently, we have the artificial turf with like a rubber pellet fill material, and we're switching to a cork fill material. All of the user groups that we did contact were in support of this type of material that we'll be using. There will also be a pad underneath it, which will last through 2 cycles of replacement, and it will also give the users just kind of more cushion, if you will, like if they were to come in contact with it. Are there any questions?
No, this is Commissioner White Snyder. I read about the pad. Does that make it play more like a regular field? Sometimes the old turf fields are almost close to playing on a parking lot. They were so hard. Is the new pad supposed to be better quality?
Wesley, would you like to answer that?
Sure would. Yes, it is still not going to be the same as a natural turf, but it does help with that in the sense that there'll be a little more give and playability, but it also at the same time gives it a lot more safety, like a natural turf field.
Okay. Any other comments?
I had a question.
Okay, go ahead.
This is John Paul. Two things. One question was whether or not we ever got the answer about temperature for the cork turfs and whether it was going to be cooler in temperature than the current turf that we have.
I can answer that. That is, it's about 20% more cooler than your natural, or from your natural turf. So it's a huge reduction in temperature change compared to what we are dealing with now, where on a 110-degree day, I went out there and measured the temperature at like 176 degrees on the field, where that's going to be more like in the 110-degree range on the cork field.
Well,
That's great.
that alone is fantastic. Yeah. And the other question I think Christine cleared up, it had to do with the contract, because I saw in the description we received the total amount available and then the amount for the goods purchased. And I wasn't sure if there was a follow-up contract. So now I understand what's happening and it makes sense.
Okay. So I guess the next we move on to election of officers, and last month we postponed it because we didn't have a full commission present, and we're in the same boat now. Could I get opinions from the commissioners on how their comfort level of going forward?
This is Commissioner Foraker. I think I was the initial person who raised that concern here last go. We can't postpone forever. However, I think that's kind of where we left it, and that we would hopefully have a full commission presence here for our July meeting, and if not, we would vote. So I'm of the opinion that we've had two good opportunities to have this done. Let's just proceed. I don't know if anybody else disagrees with me on that.
Thank you. I was leaning that direction, but didn't want to inadvertently sway anybody else's opinion who was trying to agree with me. If anybody is in disagreement, now would be the time to say so. John Paul or Ali, are you opposed to going forward? First of all, we have to have nominations and candidates.
This is John Paul. I don't know Rashid's thoughts. I'd like to hear him, but I think this is an appropriate time to nominate candidates and elect them tonight. I think that with our August break, we have 2 months to onboard a new chair and vice chair and have everything up and running for September. So I really don't want to wait any longer.
Great. Ali, do you have a short opinion? And I'll open up nominations.
No, I'm actually in agreement with both the and Andrew.
Okay, that's great. Then I'd like to open it up for nominations. Do we have a nomination?
This is Commissioner Foraker. I'd like to just provide a little bit of commentary. I know I have been on this commission probably the most tenure without serving as and I'm extremely reticent to say this out loud because I don't want to put bad juju into the world. But with this whole COVID thing, my career, frankly, could take some material turns here in the next quarter or so, which could include me leaving this area. And so I'm extremely reticent due to that fact to put myself up for vice chair or chair. I don't want to sign up for a job and then immediately quit after signing up for a job. And I hope that you guys can all understand that. But just wanted to kind of put that out in the world. I think in a non-COVID environment, I would definitely be interested in at minimum the vice chair position, but at this point in time, I'm happy to serve in either capacity with your guys' understanding that I could just kind of have to go and have to go fairly quickly here in the fairly near term. So it's not happening. I don't know if it will be happening, but it could. And so that's just my only hesitation in doing that and putting myself out there to have either of those positions.
Well, from my point of view, I would like to say exactly what John Paul has said in the past. I've been here a long time, and I would support Andrew as chair or vice chair. I think we roll as we go. If his life circumstances alter, none of us are promised that we'll be here forever. I think we go with it, and I would be more than happy to have Andrew or Ali step into the position. John Paul, you look like you're ready to make a comment. I can only see your face.
I'm just listening at this point. Again, I want to hear Rashid's thoughts. I would like to give other people on the commission opportunities to serve as chair and vice chair. My feeling is the reason we have a chair and a vice chair is if a chair leaves, we have a vice chair. I don't know from our bylaws or our city our city code whether or not we would hold a new election. If vice chair moves up to chair, or if vice chair leaves, if we would be able to elect a new officer or how that works. But I concur with Carla. I think we can roll with those kind of questions and give all commissioners an opportunity to take leadership roles of chair and vice chair on the commission.
Okay, given that, I'd like to nominate Andrew as, I think, Andrew, you've been here long enough. I'd like to nominate you as chair, unless John Paul is desirous of flipping back and being chair again. I'd like to nominate you as chair if you'd be willing to serve.
No, I very much appreciate that nomination. I'm very happy to accept it. I just wanted to make sure that the commission was aware of some considerations that are happening in my life right now, because I just don't think it'd be very fair to you guys to,
the whole world's
raise my
in your
hand, volunteer,
condition.
let's
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
And just, up and leave in September or October, right? So that's my only concern. And so now that I've stated it and heard your guys' thoughts, I appreciate that very much, the nomination. And happily accept it. I haven't heard anything from Rashid, and again, I'm not on the video conference, so it's difficult for me to judge faces. But yeah, so I'm happy to nominate that, and I don't know if Rashid is interested. I'm also happy to support his interest as well.
No, I'm more than happy to second that nomination for you as chair, especially if there is a possibility of you having to leave at some point in the near future. I think it'd be a really good opportunity for you to experience that role if that does happen. So you could have a few months of filling in as chair at the latest, because I think it would kind of suck if you ended up leaving this commission and never got to serve as chair. So saying all that, I'm more than happy to support Carla's nomination. And if I don't know how you've done this in the past. Do you usually keep a vice chair as someone who has previously served, or is it okay for the commission to have a vice chair who has not served as chair either?
Well, from my opinion, it's okay to have a vice chair that has not served also. Christine has helped us limp through as things have changed. So I do not have a problem with that at all. John Paul, go ahead and ask for your opinion on that. I would love to see you guys be able to serve. I really would, is where I am. John Paul and I are still here. I would love to see you guys serve. So.
I agree completely. I would like to give you guys the opportunity to take the commission in the direction that you have a vision for. And I'd like to take some time and learn from you. I've been chair already. I don't need to do it again. And so I like to at some point sit and learn and make sure I know I don't know everything. So I want to make sure that I'm hearing everyone and hearing different ideas.
So do we have a nomination for vice chair?
Do we need to vote on one before the other? How does that work, Chris?
Christine, can you help
I
us?
don't think necessarily. I think you can do the whole slate.
Great. Well, then I'll make a nomination for Rashid to serve as vice chair. And I haven't consulted with him in advance, so I don't know if that's what he wants, but I like it.
No, go ahead, John Paul. I'll let you finish.
I would love to see both of you gentlemen serving as chair and vice chair. I don't think there's a distinction in my mind of one over the other in either chair. I just would like to see both of you take the lead and to have the opportunity to serve in that capacity on the commission.
I happily accept and excitingly accept a nomination, and I think it would be great. I feel it's been almost 2 years, a little bit almost, yeah, I think almost 2 years, and I think it'd be a great, nice next step for both Andrew and I. So more than happy to and excited. If we do vote that way, that is.
Okay, so we have on the docket the nominations of Andrew Foraker for chair of the Parks and Rec Commission and Rashid Ali as vice chair of the Parks and Rec Commission. I'd like to bring it to vote. Can I do that way?
We need to make a motion.
Carla, are you making the motion?
Sure, I will make that motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor? And can we do this by roll call?
Sure.
Yep. All right. So White Snyder,
I vote aye.
Valkaringi,
Aye.
Commissioner Ali,
Aye.
and Commissioner Foraker.
Aye.
So the motion passes to have Andrew as our chair for Parks and Rec Commission and Rashid Ali as the vice chair.
Congratulations.
Yay, that's exciting.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
We're looking forward to working with you both.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, well, so now report of staff.
Wesley, do you want to go first?
An official
Sure
welcome,
will.
guys.
So it's a short one for the Parks Department. We've been very busy with maintaining the parks for the recreation staff who are holding programming at 4 of our parks. It would be Crawford, Woodside, Pioneer, and Ferns Park. Our staff are on a daily basis. They are disinfecting the playgrounds, and it's a fairly intense time for them, especially in the mornings. They are having to go and wash those playgrounds daily, and it's just it takes up a lot of their time and maintenance. Normal programming would take up a considerable amount of time, but because now they're having to disinfect the playgrounds, it really is eating up a lot more of their time. So there's not a lot of projects that are being done, but they're still getting some done. They were able to, well, at Freeman Park, the 8-foot tall fence was completed. Harris Park, there was a sink that had to be replaced due to vandalism, which we have seen a considerable bit more of that because people have a lot more time on their hands. And then the intersection at Ferns Park for bicycle training has been completed. The signs are now up too. All the paint is now correct. And there was 2 more benches added to String Park that are not in the ADA sense, but down in the center of the park, that allow people to sit and watch, where the other benches that were installed faced out towards traffic more. And that was because it would have taken a lot more cement to install those benches in the direction facing the park. So we just added more, which we felt was, more than necessary at the park. And then at Rick Gonzalez, that was the big one, which a contractor installed a ADA accessible path around to the ADA accessible swing, which had been a problem from the start of the project. The bark that's in that playground is considered an ADA accessible bark, but because of that, it's not exactly still easy to get to that side of the playground to access those ADA swings. So that was installed, and that really helped out. Now there's also van access for ADA personnel too, in 3 different locations around that park. So that has really helped out over there too. And that's pretty much, and then in urban forestry, the urban forestry department has been assisting the streets department with repairing sidewalks throughout the city where there's been considerable damage done by city trees to the sidewalks. And there has been some need for root pruning in most of those cases. And so by the urban forestry department doing that, it is a much less invasive situation on those trees, and hopefully we can rescue a majority of the trees. There has been a few that we've had to remove due to the size of the tree and the health of the tree also. And that's pretty much all I have.
Okay, thank you, Chris.
All right. I'm Chris Bain. I am the Community Services Program Manager. And so I'm reporting for the recreation side of things. So we did start lap swim programming on June 22nd. And an interesting note that we made is that for the month of June 2019, we had 491 participants. For the month of June 2020, 8 days, we had 545 participants, 8 days. So that was good. In the first 3 weeks of lap swim, the average daily attendance was 48. However, let's put a little asterisk by that, because we have so many hours of lap swim at this point, because it's kind of the only thing we're doing. Besides, we started swimming lessons on July 20th. While we're not full, we are still providing the service, and people are thrilled that we do have swimming lessons available now through the end of August, and we're looking at having 2 more sessions through the end of September as well. We're very limited, and it's only either a parent-assisted class or the instructor is teaching from the deck. So there's no hands-on type stuff, but it is, people are able to get in the water, and people are learning how to be a little bit more water safe and a little bit of skills. Another point of note is Summertime Fun Club is still operating at Ferns, Woodside, and Pioneer Parks. And that program will be offered and extended through week 10 of summer. We only planned for 9 weeks, and then WJUSD had added on that extra week of summer because it was kind of that weird thing with fair. Since that's not happening, they changed their start date of the school year to be August 19th. So we have program planned until August 14th. That's including summer team pack as well. Same schedule that just happens at Crawford Park. So it's extended through week 10. And then the other thing is staff is working on if we have a fall plan. So we're putting it out there, but we haven't made anything final. We're kind of waiting on the school district to get some more details because they're not official in a lot of things that we keep asking questions for. So we're working on a plan.
Yeah, and I'll just add to that. So basically what we're looking at for the fall is providing an extension of like the summer program that we have. Instead of Summertime Fun Club, it'll be Fun Club, and it'll just be Teen Pack. And what we're trying to determine, and we're just awaiting some additional school board meetings, is how many minutes of instruction the kids need to have while they're in the program. We're looking at having probably all of the programs, or at a minimum, the first grade through sixth grade at the community center. And we're only doing our planning through the end of December, because that's kind of a milestone for the school district to rethink the programming that they're doing. We would have to keep our our pod size small to like 12 kids per group.
Licensing is saying 10, so
Oh,
it's
10
yeah,
kids
it's
per
10.
group, so that we would be utilizing, a meeting room for each 10 kids and so forth. We're looking at having it be a break-even program, at least for the costs associated with supplies and part-time staff. At the same time, though, we're looking at our staffing needs and our staffing availability, because we do rely on a lot of high school kids right now and college kids. So we need to see what their availability is going to be as well. We're also at the same time doing a survey of our city staff to see what their needs are in terms of, if they were to have childcare, then would they utilize something if it's being offered in the city? The challenge comes that it's hard to structure a program to meet the needs of kids attending multiple school districts. It's much easier to meet the needs if it's all Woodland Joint Unified School District. So we have a lot of moving parts and pieces for this, but we do want to be able to provide some type of childcare program that would be pretty structured. From what I understand, I think it's grade 6 or 7 and 8, they require 240 minutes or so of instructional minutes per day. So basically we would, we need to make sure that our bandwidth or Wi-Fi is going to be adequate at the building in order to accommodate those demands. We'll have to carefully explain to the parents that, we're not on-site tutors. We can keep the kids focused, but we can't, provide that one-on-one instruction for each 10 kids in the pod. So we're kind of working through this, but trying to provide a service for the community as well.
Thank you.
Any
I do appreciate the thinking outside the box that you guys have done to try to provide something for the community. It has not been easy. It's been a challenge for everyone, and I do appreciate the efforts that you've made. I'm actually really impressed with some of the things you guys have come up with. So thank you very much.
John Paul, you had a question.
Yeah, well, it's more of a comment, and just to add to what Carla said, I think that this is tremendous thinking outside the box to help people that are really going to need a lot of help. I mean, what I'm hearing is it's sounding like you're going to open up the community center for parents to have kids at the community center during instruction time. That'll give them Wi-Fi access and a place to go outside of the house. That's amazing. I wouldn't have thought of it, and I'm just so impressed that you guys are coming up with a solution to such a difficult problem. And I can tell you, getting out of the house is great. My family, we're all going a little stir crazy here and getting on each other's nerves, and just getting out of the house for a psychological break is huge. So, I hope it works out. I hope we can make it happen. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, the hard part is we can't, like, if kids sign up, we'll probably keep it a constant group for at least every 30-day period, because we can't mix kids in and out of each group.
Right.
We have to have a constant group as well as staff. We try to minimize like changing staff for each group, because if we do have an outbreak, or we do have a kid or a staff member that tests positive, then we have to look at all the people that have come in touch with that person and that individual. The other thing that's unfortunate, but it is just the way that it is that, the cost associated with the program, in order to break even with the numbers that we've run, it would currently be about $110 a week. So, it's definitely an added expense to families, and one that not everybody can afford.
Right. Have staff thought about how we'll get this option out to the community so parents can start thinking about it? Because I'm sure they're going to have a lot of questions and concerns. If schools are doing 100% at home, is it okay to bring your child to the community center, and how's that going to work? So I'm sure people will want time to think about it.
Yeah, absolutely. We're waiting until next week to start advertising for the program. We're doing a staff survey right now. Plus, I think that on Thursday, there's a school board meeting that we're waiting to get the information from, so that, because we really want to be able to tailor our program to, of course, what the needs are of the kids based on the requirements. So, and then the other downside though, is because we can only take 10 kids per group, we're only talking about serving about 100 kids in the community, which is small, just a small little snapshot of really the needs that the community will have. But we do want to be able to provide something. It's our understanding that there could be some additional daycare, like on the elementary school sites, but that the YMCA is going to continue just with their standard after school type program.
I think that's great, and thank you for your efforts. I don't know how else to say. This has been tough on everybody, but especially the people with grade school, elementary school kids at home trying to work from home. And anybody who's had kids knows that that's not exactly conducive to anybody's sanity. So thank you very much. Any other comment? Otherwise, I think we're at the end of our meeting. The next meeting will be in September. August is a bye. And congratulations to Andrew and Marlene. That's very exciting. Rashid, sorry, I do that to you every time.
Okay.
With that, do I have a motion for adjourn?
I'll make a motion. This is Commissioner Ali.
Commissioner Ali, do I have a second?
I'll second it. This is Jean Paul.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Do you
Meeting
want me to do
adjourned.
roll call? Did you want me to do roll call?
Did you hear 4?
I heard all 4.
Heard all 4. Okay, I'm good.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
See you
Take
in
care.
September.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.